For me, AI means the end of excuses from brands. Welcome everyone to Fast Currents. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing the death of the double diamond. Or is it? AI is completely transforming the world in which we work and live and breathe. And, we, from an experience design perspective, we are looking at research tools and AI automation, how we're looking at synthetic personas and profiles, and then how does that impact rapid prototyping and getting exciting experiences in front of the client quicker. Today, joining me, we've got Patty, who leads our experience research capability, and we've got JB, who is a director of strategy within the experience team. Now, how is AI managing to interpret the empathy through experience research?
So I think empathy is one of the key things that I don't think AI has yet. We have been using and trialing tools like Dovetail and Loop Panel, and what we find is that we still need to a degree rewatch the recording of sessions, for example, interview sessions, to really understand the context in which the respondents or the participants are talking about a specific topic, because what AI allows us to do very well is segregate key pieces of information that are more practical and pragmatic. But if we want to understand that context, we still need to have that human element participate in the analysis of that data.
And something that we're incredibly proud of at Merkle is that we follow a human-centered design approach. So, JB, if we look at that in the context of our strategy when creating these experiences, and then we look at now we're introducing AI to kind of help navigate that space, what impact is that then having from a human-centered design?
As Patty said, kind of looking at some of these tools, really what we're unlocking is speed, efficiency, but also kind of scale. So by having an AI kind of lead more of the research process, you're able to speak to far more participants. And in a way, you're able to get even closer to a human-centered design process because you're speaking to a much broader range of people. I think as well, that applies to all parts of the process. Any time during our experience design double diamond process that we use at the moment, we are finding ways to continuously get research from consumers, validate some concepts, speak to customers about challenges that they might currently face, and really unpick what's going to drive the most impact if we do go ahead and actually design and build something for customers to use.
So if we take the process of the double diamond and, you've got define, design, deliver, disrupt, for example, what are the AI tools that are starting to disrupt this process?
So one of the biggest thing in the definition phase is social agentic listening. Social listening has been with us for more than 10 years now, but I think the beauty of AI and the role that it has to play is that previously we had to manually export data from these social listening tools and manually analyze it. Right now, with AI and its magic, we're able to condense insights from millions and millions of mentions in social media networks, review sites, and other parts of the internet in a matter of seconds to really grasp what are the main insights in terms of competitors and what context are customers mentioning our brands. The second one is around AI moderated sessions. As I mentioned previously, I think this is going to completely change the game because, as Jordan said, we can look at more scale. budgets are going to be smaller because we don't need to spend that much time in actual sessions with the customers. The concept of using AI to actually generate volume of design ideas and prototypes and actually test them in those masses, so we spend less time ideating or prioritizing at the beginning of the funnel.
So what I'm hearing is that AI can do a lot, but what is it taking away from us, and how does that allow us to kind of reposition the designer?
What I have experienced in using these tools and working with teams that use these tools is that they're really great at kind of moving you from starting from a blank page to starting with a load of ideas. And really, the designer's job or even the strategist's job is to kind of refine and develop some of these ideas to really meet the brief that we're working towards. It's far easier for us to work with lots of different ideas, concepts, directions. I think AIs are really great at thinking quite expansively. They're not limited by, our experience with the client or our knowledge of the brand or the industry. They can think well beyond those bounds. So you get some really interesting ideas that we can build off.
Synthetic personas. So how can we start to then stress test our concepts and our new experiences that we're creating with people that don't even exist, but that are built on real data?
Imagine a world where you have your designers, your UI designers mocking up experiences and prototypes very, very quickly, enabled by AI, and then sending that off or using a plugin within kind of Figma to quickly analyze and see how your persona would be responding to it. Like suddenly you can see the kind of huge acceleration we get within our process while still keeping it kind of very centered around the human who's going to be using it at the end.
And I think the beauty of synthetic users as well is the fact that you can actually integrate your own data. So if you, for example, have interviewed a set of your customers before, then you can actually train the model and these tools to be more kind of like a mirror of those real customers. So I think in the next, let's say, 6 months, I would use it really in combination with more traditional user research methods to ensure that you have that quality of data and you almost use it to deep dive a bit more in specific areas where you didn't have time to deep dive in your main research project.
To enable AI to accelerate, we really need to be focusing on the brilliant basics to get those in place. I don't know, JB, if you've got any thoughts about that.
If you think about a design system almost as like the building blocks, the framework that we create, and we're very comfortable and happy with, and then you give the AI kind of space and a bit of free reign to start to mix it up, and combine these in a way that meets the brief or the project that you're working on. It just means that you start to change the role of the designer to kind of being someone that sets up and manages and creates this set of rules, and then the AI kind of then uses those to create something. And what you're left with is a design that's far more kind of aligned to the way that your website or your experience looks at the moment, and also kind of follows a pattern that you've already established, right? These experiences are very often kind of sitting alongside other experiences that a brand has already created, and so you want that consistency. So working with design systems really gives you that, obviously from a visual perspective, but as well from a UX and a strategic perspective as well.
So if we look at our clients, what would you say is the one thing that they should be doing now to get ahead of the game?
I think one for me is just being more open to AI. And I think our job as client partners, we need to really work with them to almost proof and test the difference between, I don't know, let's say an interview that was conducted by a moderator and an interview that is conducted with an AI assistant, or for example synthetic personas, so comparing and contrasting what are the findings that we get from the two tools initially to then prove to them this is why we should go with AI, because it's going to be a more budget friendly, time efficient manner of running research design.
Ultimately as well, our clients engage us as kind of experts in this area. They want to have that confidence that we are still very much in the driving seat, and we're not just offloading the task to an AI that they might be able to engage with. I think there's still so much value in the human that's driving these tools.
How do you think AI is really going to impact the organizational structure on how we are set up and also deliver these experiences?
With AI really driving so much efficiency and also speed, I hope that we can leverage these tools to help support our clients in moving towards this continuous improvement, this continuous cycle of, design, develop, disrupt, test, learn, iterate. Like it's all really the same playbook. It's just accelerated in a much more efficient way.
And I also, it's removing a bit of the barriers or buckets of Jordan is a strategist and Patty is a researcher and I don't know, Sarah is a designer. It removes a bit of the barriers of us being bucketed in into those specific roles, and opens up ways in which our roles can be more of that hybrid approach.
Is the role of the designer dead?
No, absolutely not. I feel very strongly about the fact that, as with any other tools that have hit our industry or kind of creative industries, full stop, it just becomes a new way to um, create something, really. The role of the human is still there to be the kind of ultimate gauge of whether this meets what you're trying to achieve or not.
AI like opens up this world where we can test, we can prod, we can try out some of these experiences to make sure that we're ahead of the curve. And for me, it just like blows any excuse out of the water. And I'm actually really excited that we're now going to start operating in a world where we can make decisions much more quickly and test things out much more quickly and do things much more cost effectively, because we're not relying on, a designer coming up with hundreds of iterations of the same thing. That actually we can use our design brains to focus on what customers are going to be needing, to like double down in that space, to be able to launch experiences that really engage and interact with our customers to a point where we're starting to see that return on investment. What are the things that businesses should be preparing for?
Start to encourage these little seeds of ideas, these little kind of things that may not usually be prioritized, or we already know that a client might not have the budget for, and just start to weave them into a new kind of supercharged double diamond process. We've got the efficiency, we're able to start to validate some of these ideas so quickly that nothing should be kind of left off the table. We should be feeding this new process with everything that we can to really maximize the value that we get out of it. So it's definitely not the death of the double diamond. I think if anything, it's an evolved, supercharged version of that same process.
I think we have all concluded that is definitely not the death of the double diamond, but to coin JB's phrase, it is the supercharged double diamond. So if you take away one thing, it's like build it into your practice, get testing, fail fast, and embrace the change that is happening to us.